Welcome to another Explorer Everyday video. And if the plywood is going in the Tahoe, that can only mean one thing. Road trip. I'm heading up to Ely, Minnesota, right on the Canadian border basically, for a weekend of some lake trout fishing and crappie fishing, and hopefully getting my first shot of the Milky Way tomorrow morning, about 11 hours from now. I got a 4-hour drive, get a few winks of sleep, and it's going to be 5 below. Down here, it's, I don't know, 45, 50. Full on spring. I'm driving 4 hours north to go into the winter. I have no idea what this video is going to entail. Hopefully some Milky Way, maybe some fish, maybe some landscape photography. Stick around to find out.
These days are running slow. Sunsets and shores far from home. Headlights are shining on the sea. No place on earth I'd rather be. And I could try to just follow the swell.
Welcome to the trip to Ely. I'm halfway there. I'm just outside of Cloquet, Minnesota. And look what we got. We've got a big aurora storm going on tonight. A.m. update at the cabin finally. Got all my gear brought in. Go to bed here a little bit, get 2-3 hours of sleep, pop back up, go and have a Milky Way shot, back into bed, sleep in tomorrow, and then a little day of lake trout fishing and maybe some crappie fishing. See you in a couple hours. Welcome to the near Boundary Waters of Minnesota. We are one lake over from the Boundary Waters. It's about, I don't know, 4 right now probably, 4 a.m. Got about an hour and a half of sleep. And I am down to set up for kind of just a time lapse I'm gonna set up while I'm out shooting my actual scene, which is about a 1/4 mile down the lake. So I am going to go ahead and get this set up quick. Here I'm just going to use my 24-70. Keep it nice and simple. It's about probably close to 0. I don't know the actual temperature. The one issue I have tonight is you can see the moon's coming up. And the moon's coming up pretty much exactly where the galactic core is. So the galactic core came up at 320. The moon rose at 340. So I've tried to time this a little bit to let that galactic core get a little off the horizon. But that moon's going to be right in it as well. So I'm just going to have to play around. It is what it is. I'm in some of the darkest skies in the world, so I can't not come out here and try. So I'm going to get this 24mm shot with the dock. I can see the Milky Way coming up, and this shot will be what it is. That moon will start blowing this out, but I'm gonna go ahead and get this set up now. The moon does give me something to focus on, which is nice. All right, I'm gonna set this probably for 15 seconds. Actually, I'm going to go a little less because of that moon. I'm going to try 10 or 13 seconds at f2.8 ISO 3200. I'm going to do a practice shot even with my lamp on here. My hands are cold, my body's sweating. Yeah, this is nice. I actually have to back everything up a bit. I'm going to move you backwards a bit. On-site production here. The reason I'm moving back is I know I'm going to make this into a time lapse at a 16:9 aspect ratio. So I want to make sure there's enough room on the bottom and the top when that gets cropped in LR time lapse. Try one more test shot here. And it's going to help ensure that I'm in focus from the dock to the stars, infinity. All right, I like my shot. I'm in focus. I'm going to set this time lapse up. The final settings are going to be 13 seconds at f2.8, ISO 3200. You always got to wait when you start a time lapse to make sure that the 1 second interval in between shots re-triggers it, especially with astrophotography. We're good. We're going to keep moving. So one last thing to note, all the snow is melted off the ice. I'm kind of up near shore yet, but I can tell, and you can maybe see the reflection off the the lake. Once you get a little further, it's glare ice. So I do have ice cleats with. I'm gonna see if I don't need them. Hopefully I make that decision before I fall. Let's go. Alright, I've tried to tell myself that the moon wasn't going to be an issue. Well, the moon's a big issue. I tried to tell myself, well, the moon's not that bright when it first comes up in the middle of the night. It's very orange. It won't be that big an issue. It's a big issue. I took a practice shot from right here with my Sony, and I'll put that on the screen now and you can see what I mean. It is just gonna blow out the core completely, which, man, I'm rarely up here anymore. So not to have a chance to shoot the core here in March and not have issues with the moon is pretty frustrating. I will say, for being worried about it being super cold, I'm uncomfortably hot right now. Uncomfortably hot. So now I'm going to set up my 14mm Sigma 14mm on my Nikon D750 and get nice and wide here. I've got my one time lapse running at the dock. That might be the only time lapse I do tonight. I might just try to get some stills here. So what I'll probably end up doing is finding compositions and taking 8 shots at a time, and then stack those in sequitur for noise reduction. So then I can probably take foreground images and take sky images, and I can hopefully balance out that moon a little bit and try to get a good shot of the core. So let me play around here. Let me see what the 14mm looks like. I gotta get it focused in and see what my shot looks like here. My peninsula trees is right where I'm standing if I duck down. So that is my composition for the night. We're about, I don't know, 150, 200 yards down from the dock. And the walking was actually pretty easy. There's a snowmobile trail here, so it's a little more roughed up and not glare ice, though it is very slippery. I'm gonna focus the 14mm on the moon here quick. All right, and I'm actually gonna switch tripods around. This is a really heavy setup, and that's my more sturdy tripod. And this tripod's actually better for filming anyway, because I can be a little more quick on the maneuverability. All right, I got the tripod change done. Got my camera secured in so we don't have a hard fall onto the ice. I do want to say a little jokingly here, so back at home I'm always commenting about coyotes, and if you hear them howling, I always try to get them recorded. But we graduated to their big bad cousins up here, so maybe I'll be a wolf snack up here. Maybe there's a bear that just came out of hibernation that's hungry and looking for an easy meal. I'm definitely an easy meal, so keep your ears open. Taking our first test shot here with the 14mm at 10 seconds. Yeah, we gotta get closer. It's had to have warmed up. I am so warm, and now granted the wind has died. If it wasn't so windy earlier tonight, it wouldn't have been as bad, but it is warm out, which I'm happy for. And that should make for a good day of fishing also. All right, I'm gonna move up. I'm gonna move up, I'm not gonna talk, and then I'll come back and get you. All right, I just took my first series of 8 shots. I'm gonna have to move back into the bay to get that moon just clipping the edge of that peninsula. But did you just hear that ice cracking? This whole ice is moaning and creaking, which typically means it's growing. We are middle of March, March 21st, 22nd today, second day of spring. I hope you heard that. It's pretty awesome. Let's move. I just got done taking my second set of 8 images. Maybe I took 10. I did these at 10-second intervals, so a little bit shorter. Kind of, you can see how I catch the moon right off the edge of the trees there. So now I'm gonna even go back further into the bay and see if I can't either catch some cool moonlight coming through the trees or filter it a little bit. And I just don't think we're gonna pull any detail out of that core, but it's so nice out. I'm just gonna keep hanging out. I'm trying to think of what else I can shoot here. I just got this camera, my vlogging camera. Got my 14mm on here. I do have a 20mm width. I'm not sure that's going to change. As that core keeps rising, I am going to shoot a full arch pano, meaning I got to walk out into the middle of the lake a little more. So that's my next few minutes. So let's move back further into the bay and change up this perspective. And one thing I heard somebody else talk about on another YouTube photography channel is when you're walking with your camera on a tripod, hold the camera really low. That way if you do slip or fall, it's not going to fall as far. And this is definitely a slip and fall situation out here, so I am kind of just going slow and keeping the camera low if I do take a tumble. I got hopefully not a damaging fall for the camera. Got my cell phone in my pocket so I can call my sleeping buddies who will never wake up, and I'll wait to die out here with a broken hip and be eaten by wolves. So you can see I changed the angle again. Now I've got that moon actually in the trees, and it's got a pretty cool look coming through those trees. And I actually got that idea driving up tonight. As I was going up the freeway, the sun was setting through some forest areas, and it really diffused the sun so you could actually see the circle. And as soon as you got out of the trees, obviously it looked like the sun again. So I kind of got that idea to use these trees with the moon like that. So this is really my only composition I have here, so I got to start getting creative and see what else I can shoot. I still got to do the full arc pano. I did change my settings slightly, so I've been shooting at f2.2 on everything. I did go from a 10-second exposure up to a 13-second exposure with the trees kind of filtering some of that moonlight. So that's the only difference. Still really hot. And then one other comment, I'm using only my directional mic out here instead of my lapel mic, because I want to be able to capture the sounds. If the odd chance a pack of wolves started howling, I want that directional mic on so we can get that. I've got coyotes plenty of times. I've never had wolves. So we've been coming to Ely, gosh, probably 15 years now. Used to be every walleye opener and a ice fishing trip here in March. We all have kids now. Life's gotten busy. These trips are getting harder. So when we get here, you really got to take advantage of it. I've seen wolves once up on Snowbank Lake. 2 of them from probably 200 to 400 yards away. Got a really sketchy picture, probably with my cell phone. But seeing a wolf in the wild is pretty epic. And if I got a pack howling out here, that would make the whole weekend. So that's why I'm gonna only use my directional mic and not my lapel mic. So audio might be not perfect. I gotta see what time it is. Astronomical twilight ends at 5:20. I gotta figure out what pocket I put my phone in. I'm not even tired after those 2 hours of sleep. It's 4:45, so we've got less than 45 minutes. And it's gonna be cloudy the next 2 nights, so this is my only chance to be out here. We've got a system coming through, 3 to 5 inches, starting potentially today, Saturday afternoon, into Sunday and Monday. So this is my only clear night, but holy cow. We got some epic aurora on the drive up here. Now we're shooting the Milky Way in some of the darkest skies in the world. This is a dark sky sanctuary up here in the Boundary Waters, so what more can you ask for, except for that moon not to be there? Let's find another composition. Alright, I must be getting tired. My next shot, I just set my camera down on the ice like this. It's pretty level and did my 8-shot series. I don't know if it's going to look any different than it being on a tripod, but something I wanted to try. Now that it's got me thinking, I'm in focus to infinity. Maybe I'll get this right in the line of the moon, focus on the ice really close to me, and have the background out of focus and see what that looks like. I could even light paint with my headlamp a little bit. And then another shot I'm gonna get maybe 30 yards to my right over here is a boat lift. So I might go try to get that boat lift as my foreground subject with what you can see of the Milky Way over the top of it. Maybe 30 minutes left, just gonna keep playing. That's all I'm doing now, just playing. It's fun. So at least on the back of the camera, I'm really impressed how it looks, just having the camera on the ice, and I have that camera on the ice too to maybe give it that same effect. I'm playing with the ripples, try to prop that camera up a little bit. I may even prop like my glove or something underneath it just to get a little more of the Milky Way. So the stars are out of focus, but the reflections of the ice with the moon appear to be in focus, so it has a really cool look to it, I think, at least on the back of the camera. So I'm running out of time. I'm gonna go shoot the boat lift real quick. That's my next composition, and then maybe it's arch time, and that's gonna about do it, and then it's back to bedtime. Let's go do the boat lift next. Laying on my back on the ice, looking straight up. Couldn't be a more Minnesotan thing to do. It's 5:30. It's over. We have passed astronomical twilight now. We are going to start creeping into dawn every minute we go forward now. So Milky Way time is done. And I'm not happy with that guy over my shoulder over there. I'm under the darkest skies I can get to. Milky Way core season, and I didn't get a shot of the core because that moon is so bright. So I've spent the last 20 minutes or so playing around the boat lift here and just shooting away from the moon. I'm shooting other regions of the Milky Way, more the Cassiopeia region. The moon's just too bright, so I'm trying to capture aspects of the Milky Way with this north field. So, man, what a night. Epic aurora. I can't wait to see what I got on the computer. Back of the camera looks phenomenal. I haven't even looked at my time lapses, just what I shot with my Sony. Shot video, shot stills. I did fly the drone briefly, and then we're out here shooting Milky Way. So a number of different angles with the moon, then I was just shooting without the moon. What a start to the trip to Ely. I'm not sure what else this video is going to entail. I think I'm probably going to have at least 2 segments. One astro, so aurora and Milky Way, and then everything else. We do have snow coming, so we'll have a winter wonderland up here. But hey, thanks so much for watching. This has been a ton of fun. I hope the images come out as good as they look on the back of the camera. Thanks so much for being here, and we'll see you in the next one.